Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we're diving into Ocean Biomedical's latest 10Q filing. Prepare for a journey with more twists and turns than a biotech stock chart, especially regarding their going concern. First, a quick rundown. Ocean Biomedical is a drug company aiming to develop treatments for cancer, fibrosis, and infections. But their latest filing paints a picture of a company facing financial headwinds and potential delisting, so if learning about financial troubles sounds good, keep watching. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community, linked in the description below, where we discuss reports. Let's start with a tough topic, the company's ability to stay in business. The report says there's substantial doubt about Ocean Biomedical's ability to continue operations within the next year. That is not something that investors like to read. Scroll, the company had no cash inflows from operating activities. Scroll. Why? Well, for starters, they didn't have any cash coming in from their main business for the last 3 months. As of March, they barely had any cash on hand, but the real kicker is their working capital deficiency nearly doubled. That means their short-term liabilities, the bills they need to pay soon, are way more than their short-term assets, like the cash they have access to. So where's the money? It is mostly locked up. They have just under $1 million of restricted cash. That is not going to help the day-to-day. And how about those short-term debts they are still on the hook for? Well, they are still pretty hefty. They still have to pay close to $10 million. And it is not only me saying this, but also their management acknowledges that they need to raise more money to keep their research going. They may try to defer some payments, but that only goes so far. The question is, can they find funding? Let's jump into the actual numbers and see how Ocean Biomedical's balance sheet looks compared to the end of last year. First things first, total current assets, that's what they could turn into cash quickly, actually increased. They are at $1.55 million in assets right now. But that's where the good news ends, because their current liabilities, or what they owe soon, is much higher at $26.6 million. The amount of cash raised from investors also rose a bit. It's now at $121 million. Their accumulated deficit, which is the total amount of losses they've racked up over time, went up a little bit, now at $213 million. Now let's look at their income statement, which shows how much money they made or lost. Research and development, what a drug company spends to hopefully make new stuff, stayed flat. On the other hand, their general and administrative spending rose almost double to close to $1 million. Interest expense also stayed put at about $350,000. What hurt them the most was something else entirely. For the 3 months ended on March, they took a loss of $8.2 million. This is in stark contrast to last year, where they profited nearly $13 million. And how about those shares outstanding? The weighted average shares jumped from 27 million shares to 91 million shares. This explains what happened on their latest income statement, as all of their gains from the last year are gone. Their net loss per share, basic and diluted, is at -9 cents, from almost making $0.50 last year. Yikes. Net cash used in operating activities, that is, what a company makes or loses from its main job, continued in the negative. Nothing new here. The big thing is non-cash debt issuance costs. That is a topic on its own. And then, of course, there is the non-cash stock issuances, about $10 million. So money they did not directly get. To cap it all off, the money they have been provided with from financing activities is nearly $1 million. It's been a quiet 3 months for Ocean Biomedical. I feel obligated to briefly mention these statements are unaudited. I am not aware of any specific implications from this, but I'm required to say it. Now, about that backstop agreement, we said that this would not be a fun report. Basically, they had an agreement for a third party to purchase 8 million shares to help make money in their initial offering. It also contains information about what happens as the stock price changes. There are 2 components, the written put option and what's called fixed maturity consideration. All of these items we've just talked about are considered level 3 in the fair value hierarchy. This is because it is hard to tell the values of the items being discussed, and we are relying on information from the company, which can be less than ideal. The company financed a lot of things through secured convertible notes. This means if they do not pay up, their assets will be ceased. Lastly, there are the stock options, a common way for employees to get paid, but at the expense of diluting shareholders. Okay, enough about all of that finance stuff, so there's also a few legal battles brewing. First up, a lawsuit from a former employee seeking earned salary and payments. The company has set aside $0.5 million for this. Another one from IPFS Corporation claiming money owed for insurance premiums dating back to before Ocean Biomedical took over. IPFS has already won default judgments, and Ocean Biomedical has set aside $0.1 million. There's also Entero Securities claiming a finder's fee from the merger that created Ocean Biomedical, seeking a huge chunk of cash and stock. The company said that it has no merit. As an emerging growth company, our independent registered public accounting firm is not required to formally attest to the effectiveness of our internal control over financial reporting. As an emerging growth company, Ocean Biomedical can take advantage of extensions in timelines when applying new regulations. It continues to be a small reporting company too. And finally, the big one on April, Nasdaq is determining that shares are to be delisted. Yikes, that has the risk to trigger all type of other unfortunate provisions, such as accelerating debt. That is really never good. The company is currently undergoing a restructuring program, and they need to find money for that to act. So what's the TLDR of all of this? While Ocean Biomedical is striving to innovate in drug development, its financial health is shaky, burdened by losses, reliance on debt, and an ongoing threat of being removed from the stock exchange. Based on these figures, Ocean Biomedical's financial position doesn't inspire confidence for long-term investors. The management is going to have a lot of restructuring to do. Tam, the best I can say is I hope for the sake of the patients, things turn around for Ocean Biomedical. Alright, that's our breakdown of Ocean Biomedical's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description where we are always discussing corporate reporting. Thanks for watching. See you next time.